good vibes, only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, only need good vibes. Can't lie, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Been waiting so patient, I'm going places, can't fake it. My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Got nothing to prove, cause I'm about to blow. I've been in the booth, speaking to my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it goes. Either way it goes, I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn me back. Acting like the amigos, he never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always come to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal. Releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still. Protecting my soul to keep it real. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Vibes, yeah. Only good vibes, only good
And welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Please let me know if you're hearing me all right. Welcome to the Friday night show. Tonight is Friday, August 2nd, 2024. And it's a beautiful night. It's a late night. And pretty soon we'll be into Saturday, August 3rd. Wow, what a beautiful, cool night. It's feeling great here. I hope everyone had a great day and is looking forward to an amazing weekend. I'm happy to see everybody here and chiming in, especially Miss Jane Penny here has become a member. So I'd like to thank Jane Penny for becoming a member here. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you being here and hope you enjoy yourself. Everyone in the viewing audience, please go ahead and grab a seat in the chat and enjoy yourself with your community members. Um, I would like to welcome in Bobby Smith. All right, welcome in Bobby Smith. Again, thank you, Jane Penny. Carol, welcome in Carol. Hi, Prof and chat. Hope all is well. Welcome in the wonderful Lisa. Hello to you. All right. It's a God thing. The wonderful is a God thing. Been a while. Good to see you. Glad to see you here. Sunflower Soul, also been a while. Good to see you here. I've been doing a lot of daytime shows. You ladies been checked out in the daytime. What's up, Chevy Killer 306? All right, let's go. Let's go. And Frenchie 6290, what's up? Good vibes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wonderful Eye of the Light, by the way. Everyone, please go subscribe to her various social media. She graciously has allowed us to use her music and and she's a beautiful, talented singer, and I'm grateful to her for the kindness. All right. Leaving is not an option, says Chevy Killer. No, Bobby, don't leave. All right. Thank you for letting me know the sound is good. What's up, Icy Cat? Right, you guys. So, welcome. Welcome, Nancy Drew. Hey, there you are. Nancy Drew 101. All right, yeah, SummerSlam, Cleveland, Ohio, August 3rd. All right, so what's up, guys? Oh, wow, what a week. Are you guys exhausted yet? I mean, it's been quite a month, hasn't it? I mean, we had so much happening in these past 30 days. It's almost impossible to keep up with. And as we know, it probably will be escalating and speeding up as we near November. So don't plan on it slowing anytime soon. But welcome into everyone. I'm glad to see you here. Um, I need to catch up. I'm way behind for sure. Yeah, so are we all. It's this whole thing is such a circus. It's been wow. It's been crazy. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. Mhm. But welcome in everyone. You are witnessing. You are witnessing a community in what's the word? Uh, oh man, I'm losing it. I'm pulling a FJB right now. It's a community in self-destruct mode. It's in shambles, and you are witnessing it in real time. So enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Um, yeah, shit show turmoil, and you were busy today. Great, Bobby. It's good to hear. I've seen a lot of people chime in that they were busy today, and that's good in my book. I was busy today too. Um, and on top of that, you guys know I've been fighting this problem. Um, but other than that, I had a busy, great day, and wow, I don't. There's so many things to not talk about, but the funniest thing is the other day I'm just astonished because I've been shopping for a generator, and I had my eye on these couple particular generators, and so you know how Amazon works. You put the generators in your card, or you check Amazon, and I was kind of going between a couple, and as that was happening, you know, the other day I was still kind of comparing a couple models, and all of a sudden, you know how Amazon will do from time to time, the price will escalate. I mean, oscillate wildly. So the price dropped something like 56%, and I was like, "Oh yeah, pull the trigger." So I'm very happy because the price drop is what convinced me which model to go with. But my generator is on its way, and I'm really excited about that. And it's one of the better ones that I was considering. So because of the price drop, I got it cheaper than the uh, cheaper one I was comparing. So boom, I made a deal. So let's just hope it arrives safely and it all works out. But that's my update for the day or for the week with the excitement of generator shopping. So I hope you all are getting yourself in order for unexpected circumstances because we know that things are so wild right now. Uh, I'm sure no one wants to be without power for a week or two or a month. So, get yourself a generator and get all your other stuff together, get some water. But good to see you here. I dropped the link down or up above here. If you look up, oh wait, no, if you're watching the chat, it's down below. But down below, right there, you'll see the StreamYard. So anyone would like, feel free to join in. Otherwise, I'll sit here and read your chats until it is no longer productive to do so. Uh, Did I see the leaked video for VP? No. I was lurking today, but watched the live. Well, thank you. So as I mentioned today, it was quite entertaining. It was quite entertaining to see the responses to the various nuggets dropped in court this week. It just goes to show that no matter what it is, that people will choose to view it through their own distorted lenses and come out with an interpretation that is or that behooves them. And watching these people respond in the past 72 hours has been amazing because man, I wouldn't expect anything less from the Delphi community, anything less. So it's been amazing watching it. So people who, whatever their opinions are, they found confirmation in the hearings this week, and that's amazing, isn't it? No matter what the opinions are, people have found confirmation of their prejudices and pre-existing opinions and theories. Wishful thinking it is, and that's what's going on. So anyway, I'm glad to see you all here. What are your opinions, loosely, on what you've seen? Have something of interest? I will check it out. You can also get a break to put in your electrical panel, and you can hook up your generator to it and help power half your home. You know, I was sort of looking at some guys on YouTube talking about that, but it looked a little too much for me because one thing I don't know about is home electricity, and I'm really afraid of it, to be honest with you. Um, but that sounds good. That sounds good. I'm waiting for the judge to judge, justly or not. Exactly, me too. I have some surprises in store for you, or especially I have a surprise in store for you. But what I'm waiting on is the judge to make some rulings before I announce the surprise. But I have a surprise lined up, and I'm very excited about it. But uh, I wanted to wait until after the rulings were made before I brought it to the show. So we'll just be waiting a little longer and see how quickly we get these rulings, or at least a handful, and then maybe we'll have our special guest, surprise guest on, and that'll be amazing. Someone leaked the campaign ad. Oh man, don't understand how a knife just miraculously appears, and now we don't have to talk about a bullet. You'll come wire it up. Are you a genius at home electricity? Because I'm afraid of it. I don't want to burn anything down or electrocute myself, so I don't do it. Come wired up. I think it would easily power the essentials. You know, it's going to power like the refrigerator, freezer, a few lights, fans, that sort of thing. Turn your main off. Make sure you hook up to the right breaker. Then you're done. Never touch the bus bar in the panel. And remember, your stove is 220, so that'll F you up. And your hot water tank is also 220. Well, this is apparently a 120 volt, and what's that? 25 amp. Does that make sense to you? Yes, I have looked into solar panels, and they're extremely costly. The house is not at all solar, so. Yeah, be careful Googling it. May give me bad information. Haha. I'm just looking at the device controls here, and that's what it looks like. So there's this like 120 volt, 25 amp camper type of outlet on the front as well, which I'm assuming if you're going into the house, you probably go out of that. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was my excitement for the week. And actually, the funny thing is, I still have another one in the cart because I was thinking of getting two. Um, yeah, I'll let you guys know what happens because if I get that bigger one, like I'm planning on, um, that one I would use to run the house because that one is it's big enough to run the house, and the little smaller one I would just use for camping and emergencies, to have a little lightweight, quick one. It's electric talk with Bobby and Chevy. Something I don't mess with. What's up, Digital and Fiend and Sunflower? We just say hi to you earlier. I don't know if it's just me, but now Twitter is popping tonight. Wow. I'll stop looking at it. Not as scary as you think. You don't have Twitter. What are you missing? Mostly people making themselves feel important. Um, Sometimes it's the news that is popping. It's not ever the people on Twitter. They're always just shit posting, making themselves feel important. But no, the news this evening is pretty much popping. It's been interesting, and it's been a very interesting week. I think you guys will be very excited. I mean, there's things I do and don't want to talk about, but take my word for it. You guys are going to be very excited by some developments that are coming, especially with me and this channel and some others. And some people are not going to like it. Some people are going to love it. And so just give it some time. Twitter has a limited use function of delivering certain type of news very quickly. I'll say that. So take for instance the Trump assassination attempt. When that happened, the only place I was looking for updates and info was Twitter. Because what you can do is you can do like hashtag breaking and then click latest or top. And so as news is breaking and people tag it as breaking, you'll get up to the second. Boom, 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 boom. So it's very good for very quick, very breaking news. But then you have to have the intelligence to filter through who's posting it and what the sources are, etc. But that's how I use Twitter, is when I want to see breaking news. But basically, people really annoy me on Twitter. And so, for instance, I think this just has to be said. I did make a post about it. But one thing that's upsetting is the political hate speech. So what you found, or what you find on Twitter, is people feel more free to shitpost political bullshit, and it's sad. It's sad. But I try to look past it. I really do. Um, anyway, that's how I like to use it. But it's also, I have to warn you, it's somewhat of a rabbit hole or a vortex. So if you fuck around and start scrolling through a Twitter feed, you can end up wasting time. You can end up sucked down a rabbit hole. And I don't know, a lot of people don't want that. All right, what's up, Four Pits? All right, here's an interesting one. If you guys want to talk about heavy shit again, um, if Richard Allen was guilty, then why doesn't he just plead guilty? Makes no sense to me. He finds God, so why isn't he pleading guilty? Well, that's part of the argument that's going on behind the scenes right now. Is people are saying he's not being allowed to plead guilty, which is a bullshit argument. If he wanted to plead guilty, all he'd have to do is tell the judge he wants to plead guilty, um, or tell his lawyers to respect his request. So he doesn't want to plead guilty. Now, why would he not want to? There may be issues there may be issues, with the fear of some sort of harm to his family and his wife and loved ones. Um, I mean, I don't know what to think, because these confessions These confessions really, you don't know what you're looking at. You really don't, because one fact we can establish: he was basically placed into a torture chamber situation. Okay, so he's been placed into a torturous environment, being tortured mentally, physically, spiritually. If any of you have ever not been in jail or locked up, you don't know what that's like, even for 24 hours. So to imagine not just 24 hours in a holding cell, but to imagine 6 months to a year in a solitary prison cell, it's rough. So all kind of mental breaks can happen, and all kind of thoughts can go through the mind. So you have to look at it in a balanced way and say, okay, either he is or he is not involved. Okay, first of all. So if he is involved and he's confessing, you have to add the additional factor of his mental state on top of that. So let's say he is involved, hypothetically, he's confessing under distressful conditions and threats. So possibly he's telling the truth. Okay? But it's also possible that he's giving what his tormentors want to hear. So let's say he decides the way to appease these people and make my situation better, considering the fact that he's not thinking clearly because he's in a distressful situation. It's complicated. Okay, that's if he is involved. So even if he is involved, those confessions are complicated. Now let's conversely say that he's not involved, totally innocent. If he's totally innocent, then the confessions could not be true. But let's say he's in a state of psychosis and fear, so he's attempting to please his tormentors and whoever he feels he wants to appease by confessing. So then he's making false confessions, which also don't make sense. Okay, so it's very complicated, because let's say he was not in this condition. Let's say in his very first interrogation, he decided, oh shit, they got me and I am involved. And he confessed very sober minded, very clearly, coherently. And it was recorded, documented. That would be a different sort of confession, If he had first been interrogated and it was recorded and notes were taken, and it was not a 15-hour interrogation, but let's say within the first hour and a half, he produces a confession that's coherent, that matches aspects of the crime scene with no contradictions to the crime scene. Well, that's a sort of confession that has some meaning, But, and that's what these people are attempting to run with and say, well, he confessed, as if he had confessed in that manner. But let's say it's a different situation where he's locked up for an extended period of time, suffering major psychosis on medication that's fluctuating. Whether he's guilty or not, those confessions are not the same nature as a confession would be early on. Okay, so it's really complicated, because you have to take it with an aspect of context. Now let's say, what would you look for? Okay, so what would I look for? I would say, if you got an individual that's giving a confession under duress, I would be looking at it and saying, okay, well, first litmus is, what aspects of this confession align with the crime scene, align with what we know about the crime, and what aspects of these confessions or this confession contradict what we know about the crime. So that would be the first way I would take it. It's saying, knowing he's suffering a major psychosis, knowing he's under duress, knowing he's possibly been threatened, and his medications are fluctuating, and all of these various factors, uh, there still may be truths to those confessions. And so the way I would look at it, considering that, is to say, okay, well, is what he's giving adding up to what we know, or is it not? So it's been complicated because so far there's been conflicting reports of that. Okay, there are aspects that appear to match, there are aspects that don't. So you have to add on an additional factor in that it's been relayed to us informally or indirectly that those cellmates or those jail mates, prison mates, prisoners who were sitting there communicating with him, it was a two-way street. So he was speaking to them, but they were speaking to him. So they could have been questioning him. They could have been feeding him information. They could have been feeding him information from the crime scene and from the public sphere, so that if he has not been involved whatsoever and knew nothing about the crime, well, since he's been incarcerated, elements have come out, especially surrounding or due to the leaks. Due to these leaks, which I have spoken out against so passionately. Because of these leaks, information about the crime scene got into the public sphere. And so it's very possible that information from the crime scene escaped into the public sphere because of the leaks, and then got directly into the prisoners' minds through communications with the outside world. And those prisoners could have been the same, sitting there babysitting him, feeding him that information. Now remember, we don't have any recordings of this. So we don't know what they said to him and what he said to them. We have basic reports of what was said, but we don't have recordings of that. So there's no way of knowing what was said to him, fed to him. So if he's completely innocent, it's still possible that he gives confessions under duress that have elements that make sense based upon what investigators know, because that information has been leaked out into the public, and then the feedback loop going right into his solitary confinement cell. Now that's considering he's innocent and has no knowledge. Now let's consider that he's guilty and he does have knowledge. Then you have to explain, if he's guilty, does have knowledge, and the confessions he was giving had elements that rang true because of his personal firsthand knowledge of the crime scene, then you have to ask yourself, well, what about the elements that don't ring true? If he is indeed involved or guilty, and he's giving confessions based upon that, how do you explain the contradictions with aspects of those confessions which don't match the crime? I don't know how you do it. It's difficult because remembering that in this entire context, or this entire overlaying this entire situation, he's medicated with Haldol, Prozac in a fluctuating manner, at times injected. He's suffering a major depressive disorder on top of that. If he is innocent, he's distressed from being in prison. If he's guilty, he's distressed from being caught and in prison. And on top of that, he's very likely has been threatened. I mean, let's be real here. Being guarded by Odinist guards, uh, being called and having the screaming and yelling 24/7 of "you're a baby killer, we're going to kill you," and all the things that have been relayed, that have come out about what had been going on in Westville. No matter his involvement or not, there's this whole layer of like medication, of stress, of intimidation, of harassment, of threats. So it's not the simplest situation here. Problem for me is if he's involved in a small way, then there won't be a lot of sympathy because he never spoke up. Well, that too. Someone was asking about the confession. So then, I mean, about the a plea deal. So then you would think, well, hey, if he's afraid for the well-being of his family, how likely would he be to plea? Put yourself in those shoes. Easy. You just get the judge not to allow the contradictory statements, weave together a bullshit narrative, hope the jury buys it. Well, that's probably the plan. But to think about it, okay? Think about it in that way that if it was you and you were involved, you did it. What do you have to keep your family safe? Like, how can you keep your family most safe? By pretending to be innocent and taking your chances going to trial, maybe? Maybe that's the plan. Maybe. I mean, if I put myself in the shoes, I'd probably do that. I'd probably say, hey, I'll take my chances at trial because there's always a chance I could be found not guilty or win an appeal. And in any case, I never admit to it, so my family would be safer for a longer period of time. Where it's maybe he's thinking that if he is guilty and he admits to it and takes a plea deal, that his family and he would be targeted because that's basically an admission of guilt. Maybe he's trying to avoid that. Maybe he doesn't know what discovery is actually held. And I think definitely he's afraid of snitching. Because let's say he does know, okay, let's postulate that he is involved, as are others. He's too afraid to snitch because that would be the end of him. He's too afraid to plead guilty because that would be the end of him. He's trying to take his chances in court and see what happens. I don't know if I have an answer. Just seeing if I'm missing anything here. Thoughts of having the guilty watching this play out and get away with it is infuriating. Well, like I said, it's let's all relax. It's a time to relax. It terrifies me to know Ellie can be corrupted and I could be accused of anything and suffer publicly while the truth is right there. Don't be a sheep. Richard Allen has not been treated fairly, guilty or innocent. Well, that's the bottom line. That's why I advocate for the due process and the defense because how would either of us know? How would any of us know, unless we were involved, about his guilt or innocence? We won't, and we wouldn't unless we were involved. But what can we say looking at this from the outside? I think you could clearly say that there's no reason on earth he should have ever been in Westville in those conditions for longer than a week or two. I mean, and I think anybody trying to judge that is, or justify that, I mean, I think anybody trying to justify what happened to him is a fucking sociopathic. What's the term? What's the term when you like seeing people suffer? Take pleasure from it. It's slipping my memory right now. But, you know, basically all of our troll farm are these types. You know, they love to see us suffer. Yeah, evil. That bottom line. Yeah, bottom line. Yeah, sadistic. There you go, digital. Thank you. Sadistic. Sadistic. Yeah. Hey, where? There's Phoenix. What's up, kitty cat?
What's up, Prof? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm hearing you now. Yeah, sadist. Yeah, I think anyone not agreeing that he was basically placed into a situation of torture for more than a year is pretty sadistic, because that's just it's fascist. On its face, it's pretty clear that, you know, anyone. I mean, that's why I was so upset the other day, because I read Yellow Jacket's notes about the testimony of Dr. Monica Walla and Warden Gallipo, and it devastated me. Not because I care about Richard Allen, but I care about due process and about the ethics and the humanity of a person who is not convicted of a crime. And reading all of that, it just hit me in the gut. I mean, it's like basically witnessing torture, but just through writing. So that's
I
my
would
opinion.
agree with that. The you know, I've heard people that I think maybe Mothman said she would still be bothered if she 100% knew he was guilty. You know, like this isn't about like whether he's guilty or not. This is about like, you know, humanity, and like we don't do this to the most extreme terrorists, like, because it's not allowed. It's completely illegal. You're not allowed to do that. Yet right here in our own fucking state, like, they're pretending that nothing applies to them and they just do whatever the fuck they want. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I mean, I was really stunned by the UN rule that any more than 15 days, is considered
I've seen 15 days and I've seen 30 days, and it might
15
be
to
different
30.
standards.
I
Yeah,
would say,
different standards for different bodies, but like the, you know, man, this is way more than that.
I mean,
And
what,
it's not like they come up with those numbers out of their ass, you know, like they're basing that on science as far as like what can a person actually endure, like how long can they endure that. And you know, it's really limited. Just perpetual like solitary confinement is not something that is any human brain can like actually withstand. You can't. That's it.
yeah, I mean, that's it. and to consider that, there will be time to punish the man if he's found guilty. So, let's set aside all the emotion and just say, like, if he is found guilty, if his guilt is proven, there will be 20 to 30 years to torture the man and place him in solitary, treat him like shit, abuse him, possibly kill him in custody. There's all sorts of things that could befall him as a prisoner. That's what hell is reserved for him should he be found guilty. But where we are coming from ethically is to say, look, he is not found guilty. There's time for that. And even that's not necessarily humane.
I mean, yes, for
there's
a pre-trial detainee, this is completely like just, it's so out of the ordinary. Like, I mean, I think it's great that the safekeeping order was vacated, and that he's no longer in custody of IDOC that basically did this to him, because they could have chosen wherever they wanted to send him. They didn't have to send him to like the worst of the worst places. They did that on purpose, just to be nasty. It wasn't anything about like where they chose to send him, except that they were doing it on purpose. But like the situation that we're in now is like, I don't even, it may be even potentially worse, because right now, for the first time, Richard Allen is completely off the radar. He was remanded to Carroll County custody, and they were going to keep him at an undisclosed location. And there's no public access to get that location. And that's the first time that that's ever really, really happened. They've tried to hide the public access for where he's at a lot. But it's still been public. Right now, they're completely hiding where he is being located at, which is a little bit scary, because Carroll County doesn't have the facility to hold him. They aren't able to keep somebody in solitary. I mean, I don't know why they're not just like saying, hey, we're booking you into Cass County. That's it. We got you in solitary. And we're keeping track of it. Should be pretty easy. It's a very strange situation as far as what we've transitioned to, where like, I don't want to say that the IDOC situation was better, but like at least you knew what the situation was right then. Like right now, we have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't so excited to see it. I mean, I try to be understandable about the various dynamics, but I basically was thinking, look, he's kind of stable and alive now. Can we just leave well enough alone, because we're just around the corner? But
Yeah.
I have no feeling one way or the other, except that should something happen to him now, it would really be horrible, because
Right. And I mean, I do have a concern about that, because then I mean, what's the narrative going to be? They're going to end up blaming the defense attorneys. Well, look, you asked for him to be removed from the prison, and then as soon as he got out of the prison, wham. Like they don't have any control over that. Like they don't have any, like everybody's supposed to be doing their utmost to keep him safe. And even the prosecutor even said that all I care about is him being safe and being able to make it to trial. That's all I care about. Well, then, but you better make sure it fucking happens.
yeah, that's all I've ever cared about. I just want him to make it to trial because I care about the trial. But I mean, I think to go back to this, I mean, this is an unprecedented treatment of a pretrial detainee. I mean, I'm sure it's happened in the past in various states, and cases that we probably should discuss in the future. But
I think it's probably really limited the number of cases that like match up this closely to this one, because the amount of time that he's spent in solitary is it might be unprecedented. I'm sure horrifically it's not. I'm sure it's happened to somebody else at some other time, but like
Yeah.
it's not at all common. It's because it's literally illegal. Like what they've done already, completely illegal. There's no way this is allowed. They just didn't care and just did it anyway.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I found it interesting in Yellow Jacket's notes that when discussing his weight loss, okay, so first she predicated with he was overweight. Then his weight came down, but then the word tanked was used. But then he tanked and they went into oh shit mode because he literally was deteriorating to nothing. And that was not just physical, it was mental as well. And what else would you expect from this sort of treatment? And I don't think we should shut up about it. I really don't, because this, to me, this is the glaring issue. This is why I'm here at this point, because I have no feeling one way or the other about his guilt or innocence, because I don't have enough facts. But I do have enough facts about his condition and his treatment in solitary and his mental deterioration, and everything you've seen is to be expected. And I think it's just a miracle that he's made it this far. I've thought all along that he should have been placed in a medical facility as a pretrial detainee, not in a max security prison solitary cell.
I mean, I think he would have been fine in a county jail. That obviously couldn't have been Carroll County, but like it could easily have been Cass County, as long as he's kept away from any other prisoners or inmates. That's fine. That's a fine situation. No need for more than that. Like he's a pretrial detainee. Yeah, if he's got the mental stuff, then yeah, they should have looked at potentially hospitalizing him, and that's probably going to be on the table like continuously, because who knows where he's at like currently. Like he's been through an awful lot.
Sleuthie says, "Don't say that." Don't say what, Sleuthie?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what she was referring to.
Yeah, what are you referring to, Sleuthie? You're welcome to join in if you choose to run your mouth on the camera. But yeah, what are you talking about? I mean, I literally have no feeling about his guilt or innocence because I don't have enough information. If that's what
I'm with, and then that's where people just literally do not understand that position. I'm in the same place. I don't, because we have a system in place that puts the burden of proof on the state, and to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, they do lean towards like legally you're innocent until proven guilty. But factually, I don't have any piece of information on either side of this to prove that he did it or to prove that he didn't do it. And this far into a case, you would expect to see some stuff that proves it one way or another. So the only thing that's like really informing any like feelings I have towards it is the lack of that. Why thing proving it either way?
I mean, I just like to be able to point out that which I can see. For instance, the obvious that we're discussing, that the extended period of time in the solitary confinement. I think it's atrocious, but but uh but also things like Liggett's misrepresentation of witness statements and obfuscating and bending the facts and straight up lying on the PCA. I mean, that's something I feel that I can comment on because it's in plain sight and the evidence is right there. Everyone can read the PCA and everyone can compare that against what is known. And so these types of things I am willing to talk about definitively, you know, and the things that are more subjective or unsettled, like whether the bullet is anything or the knife or anything or the confessions, or none of that to me is any evidence of his guilt or innocence. It's just stuff. It's allegations by both sides. She's saying about him being off the radar, and where something that happened to him, the narrative would be his attorneys got what they wanted, and we said he wasn't going to be safe. Now what?
Yeah, she was talking about what I was saying as far as
Yeah.
like it's not great. I realized that like as the news was kind of coming out, like first it was safekeeping order, then it was like, wait a second. Then it was like, wait, hold on, wait a second. Like, well, undisclosed. And they were serious about it. They haven't updated his whereabouts. I've been looking, but I'll probably call on Monday just to see if it's something that they're still willing to. Up to this point, they've always acknowledged that this is public information and they have to tell you. I've got a question of whether they'll continue with that, because it seems like there's some sort of court order that says, at this point that undisclosed is okay, which it really shouldn't be.
And hey, Sleuthy, that was said in love and sarcasm. I love you running your mouth. You're the most intelligent woman following this case, in my opinion. So please don't take it personal. I know everyone's walking around on pins and needles here, but
Eggshells.
I said that with nothing but love. I'd love for you to come run your mouth on the panel.
I like Sleuthy.
Yeah, well, I believe she's the most intelligent.
Sleuthy is very, very intelligent.
And following the case, I've loved your Twitter and all of your commentary on YouTube's Sleuthy.
Right. I mean, that's the thing, Sleuthy, that it wasn't as simple as hey, we're just going to remand you to Cass County. They put him in custody of Carroll County, and like the reality was undisclosed location, and somehow that was. I have no idea how that's like okay. Like I don't know. Like he certainly can't be in Carroll County, although if he is, he's like, in a very makeshift solitary confinement because they don't have the facility to hold somebody in solitary. Or they've just moved him to Cass County and they don't want to say. Or maybe they've moved him like, I don't know. I mean, they probably can't put him back in any IDOC like location, but like maybe they could arrange something with Grissom or something. I don't know. I always thought Grissom was like a great place to just keep him by himself, man.
I
Like,
agree. Grissom would be a wonderful place to hold him.
yeah, they've used that before. Like, and it's super safe. Like you're not gonna have any contact with any other like inmates. I mean, it's not ideal as far as like the solitary confinement stuff goes, but you have a lot more freedom to like let them out and about, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what you do in this situation. It's very difficult because obviously he is a high profile inmate, and he's going to be. You have to protect him to the fullest extent that you can.
Yeah, I'm just I was not so excited about it because I'm somewhat risk averse at times. But then there's times that the risk pays off. So like kind of my gut feeling is that something is stable, something is working, just let it be. But then I also know that it's difficult for everyone. So more difficult for the attorneys, more difficult for the family, and it's difficult for him. So possibly the risk or the reward will be worth the risk if he's placed in an alternative location that's closer and that's somehow also safe and maybe even optimistically safer or more or less stressful of an environment, then maybe he can get better to stand trial, and the attorneys can work better, and the family can have an easier time. So yeah, there maybe it's a good thing, but I wasn't. I didn't get excited to read the news. I thought, well, damn, you know, it almost seemed like she was just trying to throw a bone to the defense to shut the public up about her being biased. Honestly, I'm conspiratorial minded. So the first thing I thought when I saw the announcement, I thought, oh, yeah, well, she just wanted to give him something so that it looked good. So she gave them that because it's the most nothing burger of the whole 3 days.
I don't know, because she this has been brought up before, and she denied it, which I think is highly questionable as far as like the circumstances, because like what's changed where you denied this before, but now you're approving it, but you know, even even the state wasn't objecting to it previously, and they're not objecting to it now. Now you just let it go. It is strange. The I mean, the the primer. I mean, there's a sliding scale as far as like what do you mean by safe? You know, like it's just like, you know, his physical life probably safest in IDOC. Like his mental health and his like well being, definitely not. And you know, his as a pretrial detainee, like I mean, and the access to his attorneys is absolutely vital as he's approaching like any sort of like case or trial.
Well,
So
I guess you bring up a good point there. And now that to me is a great point of a benefit at this point in time because as we're approaching in proximity uh, in time to the trial, it's probably more crucial than ever right now that those attorneys have readily access to him, even several times a week, where they can quickly go back and forth. So that sort of brings me over to the side of optimism to say, yeah, well,
I think that's absolutely vital, and honestly, I don't even think that like, I mean, approaching, I would say very hesitantly, because I don't think anybody should be surprised if there's a continuance any day. You know, like I don't think anybody should have their heart set on an October or a 2024 trial. It may happen, but it may not happen, and don't like. It's very normal for something like this to be continued again. It's just what happens. It happens all the time.
yeah,
Like,
I'm expecting it, honestly.
I
I'm
mean, I
expecting
wouldn't. I'm
2025.
just saying. I'm just saying I wouldn't not expect it. Like, it's
Yeah.
just a very normal thing to happen. So, like, I just don't like. I just wouldn't like weigh it very much. Like, it maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. That's it.
But I mean, for me, guys, it's been a very. I don't know about all of you, but for me, it's been a difficult week. You know, it's a lot to take in different directions too. It's like there's a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of surprises, a lot of expected. So it's I just feel sort of exhausted from it all.
I feel you, Prof. Like, I mean, we're just everybody that like follows this case is dealing with a situation where you up to this point you haven't gotten hardly any information. And we may have gotten only like, you know, maybe like 10 or a dozen like more firmed up pieces of information. But for anybody that follows this case, that's a lot. It's a lot more than you've ever gotten. Like, we've never had actual like hearings. We've never actually heard things from the state. We've never actually had like, you know, gone through a legal process. It just hasn't happened to up to this point, and it finally happened. And like, even though you get just a few pieces of information, it is still overwhelming.
Yeah, and like I was commenting earlier, it's really, it's for me, it's almost depressing, to be honest with you, to see how people take things and run with them, with their own biases and and wishful thinking. To say we all saw the same things for 3 days, all saw the same nuggets come on out, but depending on who you are, you, you've people have people will take that and run a particular direction with it and either say, see, I was right, I knew, I told you, or see, you were wrong. And it's just been I haven't even had enough time to digest it all to make any judgments like that. I'm still kind of taking it, all those nuggets in, and honestly, it really hasn't changed a thing in my mind. um, there's some clarity here and there about little nuggets, but I saw nothing that was really earth shattering for me. But
Yeah, I
just
wouldn't
watching the
say
response.
I wouldn't say earth shattering, but I mean, there's definitely a few things that stuck out to me.
I mean, I had a bit. The one thing I do have a strong opinion on. That I'll just say it here because I meant to say it this morning on my show and show the image, but I didn't do so because I forgot. Um, but about the blood on the tree, which uh, which we've called the F tree, for this time, and which was asserted by a witness for the prosecution that this blood on the tree was more than likely a the victim's hand touching the tree that was already bloody. Uh, that's the one thing that I have to chime in and just give my opinion on, because I I just don't see it. There's no way in hell in my mind, because when I look at that image and I apply various filters through it in contrast to see as clearly as I can, there are very clear right angles, and I just can't see it whatsoever. That would be, I don't even see the human anatomy making those type of clear right angles in such a defined manner. So,
I
I
mean,
mean, that's
the
the one
parts
thing I have a strong opinion on out of
the,
everything. I would
the
say.
parts that jumped out to me specific to that, or that you know, they were very non-committal of saying how that was applied. They didn't want to say like for sure that that's just a handprint, and then they also didn't want to like be committal about like what the dimensions of it were at all. Like, how big is this handprint if it's a handprint? Like, did you measure anybody? Like whose hand? Like, does it match a victim's hand? Does it match Richard Allen's hand? Does it match somebody that's much larger's hand? Like, what are you trying to say here? Like, did you even do the very basic like measurements to like follow through with like what you're kind of thinking here, or that was just enough? That like
Yeah, and for me,
it might be a
like, what's
hand,
the
that's it.
height from the ground? Like, where would where would someone Libby's height? Where would her hand naturally fall in the in what vicinity would her hand fall on that tree? Where would Richard Allen's hand fall on that tree? And where would any of the other potential individuals?
It's really
What's
strange
the
because
height?
and they're just I don't know, the narratives like start to like you know percolate. They call it an L, but it's an upside down L, which is much closer to an F, but they want to call it an L. Like, what position is your hand in to make an L that's upside down? Like, you're twisting your whole arm to do that. Like, anybody at home, do it. How do you make an L on something in front of you with your hand that's upside down? Not right side up, upside down. Like, you have to twist your whole arm. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about with this stuff. And I think if you're gonna say some crazy stuff, feel free. Go say your crazy stuff, but like explain it. Explain it what you were talking about. You think that somebody rotated their hand and like put it up against that tree. Like they're like show us how you twist your arm to do that. And like, does that seem plausible or does that seem ridiculous?
Yeah, let me see. I think I can do this. Let's see. I'm a little slow on the technology. Well, let's see. We're gonna save it. Okay. I'll put it on the screen because I mean this was literally pretty much the only thing that I had an instant, very strong gut reaction and opinion on, which is saying a lot because there was a lot, but this is the one that I thought I smell narrative here. I just do. There's because I don't see it. Let me see. Um,
There was a couple other things that I thought that like kind of struck me as like a little bit heavier. Like I don't know if that was one of the ones that actually resonated with me as much, but I did think that like the Odinism type of expert, like that lady is super super like educated in exactly the right way.
yeah, I thought she was a great
and
expert
and what
witness.
and what her theory is, independent of what the defense thinks and independent of what the prosecution thinks. Like she was very adamant about what she thinks, and I thought that was very interesting, like very very interesting, because it's not like she's basing it on the evidence of what she's seen, and people have speculated based on the evidence they've seen, and I thought it was very interesting that she was very, very, very adamant, and she is basically one of the most educated people on the planet to actually look at this sort of stuff and give an opinion on it. So I was kind of surprised that that they got somebody that was that of that level, because I was worried if you're just gonna have like your local random Odinist that got up on the stand and tried to explain shit to you, but nope, they got like a PhD that like knows everything and has written all the books and has advised law enforcement time and time again, and like I don't know that you can really question her credentials very much.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was. I mean, I'm trying not to shill for the defense here and saying she's an incredible witness. I don't want to say it that way, but I thought that she was a great witness, regardless of whose theory she's supporting. Like she brought.
I just don't know who you're gonna get that's better for that, for the like the area that they're talking about. Like that's, I mean, I don't know if that's correct, but like for the specific thing that you're talking about, like they got one of the best people in the world to talk about it, and she showed up even for a pretrial hearing, and I mean, I don't think you can question like where her level of education and experience, like it's exactly what you would want for this situation. And like I think that her particular narrative was interesting, given that
Me too. I think.
she seemed to have no question that this was related to a ritual of some sort.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think like taking her basics and lining them up next to the defense's theory from the Frank's memorandum, I think it's pointing in a certain direction, which I felt for a year and a half now. So it's something that I resonate with, and I think that it's it's not a nothing burger, it's something. And
I mean,
she's
I'm happy to hear from the experts because the keyboard warriors aren't experts, even the attorneys aren't experts. Only the experts are the experts, and this person was an expert in her field. It was very specific to like exactly what the Franks memorandum discussed. That's her area of expertise, and like her opinion on it. It does mean more than just any other random person's opinion. I don't care. I just don't care what like anybody on a keyboard thinks. Like, it's not the equivalent to the person that's the PhD that spent their whole life studying this, that's written a ton of books. Like that person, I'm sorry, that person's smarter than you. They just are. If they want, if
yeah,
the prosecution wants to get their own Odinism expert up there and they can debate each other, perfect. Like, get someone equivalent that actually agrees with your side instead of their side. That's how you have to do this stuff.
yeah, and I was gonna say, it's not like she's just making this shit up for a gig, you know. Like, what she said was very specific, coming from an educated background with a lot of understanding and experience, and it kind of there's some lines of inquiry that are making sense here. And I'm not saying I know what happened. I'm just saying that as I was impressed by the little that we learned of her statements, and uh, and I think it'll be interesting to see. And of course, what the other side is going to say is they're going to say, well, yeah, everyone's going to find an expert to support their theory of the case. And that, okay, to an extent, that is true, that people choose experts to provide contrast and you know a version that's differing from and supporting the argument they're making. But this lady, a lot of things really resonated with me, and I thought, wow, she's something else. Yeah. So look, this.
Hey, Prof, do you know that you've got
Go ahead.
someone? Do you know that you got someone backstage?
Oh yeah, I'm not reading backstage. Um,
Okay,
but looking at this screen here,
I recall this photo.
you see, I've applied some filters to it to make as much clarity as I could, and I don't know if I look at this. That's absolutely intentional. That's. I just don't see that being an accident. I don't understand how a human hand would accidentally make those right angles. And I
I
see
do.
more than one
Yeah,
right angle.
the right angles I think are the biggest piece there. That's a and I mean it's just not an accidental thing.
Before Pitts is saying you can pay an expert to say whatever you need them to say. Well, I know that's the argument I'm saying that people are going to make. That yes, Perlmutter or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but I don't.
I mean,
Of
I
course,
don't think everybody's that mercenary. I mean, I think that you can find someone that agrees with you and is willing to agree with you for money. But like, I don't think they're just like they'll just do whatever you say you want them to do. I don't think that's actually the situation. I don't think they're just mercenaries that'll say whatever for money. That's generally not how like people of this level of education operate. I think that's a little bit of a
well, I'd like to frame it like this. I think what the detractors will say is they will insinuate something like the defense gave her their theory of the crime in the form of the Franks memorandum or some summary, and that she looked at it and read it and then decided how she was going to support it with her statements or validate it. But I
But
think
we already know that's not true because she was on court TV 10 months ago, and she caveated it a lot. She disclaimered it a lot. She's like, based on only what I've read, only what I've seen so far, as far as these diagrams of the sticks, this is what my opinion is. Obviously I haven't seen everything, but then they went and got her, showed her everything, and she's like, yes, what I thought before, definitely. It's absolutely it's all these things. It's a ritual murder of some sort. It's a ritual crime. Like there's no question about it. Well, that doesn't mean she's right, but I think it does. Being the expert in these things, who else are we supposed to listen to? She's the one that's the expert. I don't know who. Like, you're gonna listen to some jackass like cop that doesn't know anything about this, or are you gonna listen to like the expert, the preeminent expert, or one of the preeminent experts in the world about this stuff? Which one are you choosing? Like, I'm choosing the expert. Like, I value what she has to say about this because she seems very like adamant, and I think that she's not just doing it for a paycheck. That would be silly.
yeah, I mean, how she framed everything is too well put together. And like in my mind, as an academic, I look at it like, is it put together in a logical, cohesive, educated, understandable way? And that's how it strikes me. It's like I don't see her throwing together some sort of BS for a gig to make $1,000, and then you know, sort of flush her credibility down the toilet just for a one-time gig. I looked at it as like, well, everything she presented seems based in history. Seems like it's very a cognizable argument, and it's coming from somewhere. It's not out of thin air, and I don't even think that it was formulated as part of reading the Franks memo, or any of the discovery. I think that uh, she's already had all of this knowledge. Like, the way it comes across to me is she's already has this knowledge very well understood in her mind and her experience, and then when she sees some of the discovery, she recognizes it as pertinent to her knowledge and understanding from her lifelong endeavor. So when she's framing her thoughts on it, it comes across that way. And that's something that only an expert can do with, and because there's like a certain sort of integrity and logic that comes across. And if other people don't see it, well, I'm sorry. And if we don't see it in trial, we may, maybe she's not called, or maybe she fumbles. But even what I've just learned in the past few days, I would say that it comes across as authentic and expert and relevant. And if it's all by accident, okay, just to play devil's advocate, if Alan is a lone wolf killer, and all of this is just by accident, then it's an extreme coincidence, because you would have so many factors lining up by accident to make something so cohesive and logical that it would just be a freak occurrence. But I mean, I just remember looking back with Adrian some time ago at the symbolism from the crime scene photos, and I really don't know how you can argue it. Like, especially the stick formation on Abby in particular, I don't see how you argue that that was not intentional. And it's the argument that some people are making is, oh, he was just trying to cover the bodies up quickly, so he threw sticks on top of them. But no, no.
Well, I mean, my understanding is that in court, I think there was some misinformation that said that the bodies were 30% covered. But it seems like there's some contention there of what was actually said, and it was 3 to 5% covered. So basically not covered at all. So you're covering the bodies argument. If that's the case, if that's what they said, like, it's right out the window. Like, you're not covering anything that whatever, 4%, like, that doesn't cover a body. Like, it's as visible covered by 4% as it is covered by 0%. Like, don't pretend that makes a difference.
It's ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous argument. I mean, when I look at it, Adrian and I went over this quite in depth. When I look at the positioning of the bodies,
well, and
for
that's
me,
one of the so even going back 10 months, this expert, is making the statement that the most important thing is the positioning of the bodies. And then in the hearings, she's saying the most important thing is the positioning of the bodies. And I'm gonna dig up my tweet that shows, hey, let's take a look at how these bodies were positioned, and is this an exact match? Because it sure as hell looks like an exact match, and it has everything to do with the positioning of the bodies and nothing to do with all the other stuff. It has nothing to do with sticks, anything else. No, nothing on a tree. Just wipe that all away. Just the positioning of the bodies. I think you can show there's such an exact match that even that is beyond coincidence.
Well, for me, I mean, what I said in that live, I said that for me alone, I'm not trying to convince anyone, but the prof's opinion, looking at it, those bodies, for me, clearly reflect tarot positioning or uh, poses. For me, the positions that the two bodies are left in clearly echo tarot positioning or staging of the bodies. And then on top of
The
that,
operative word is poses. You
yeah,
got the
the
poses,
poses of tarot.
and it's very weird because there's very little intersection between Odinism and tarot cards, but there is some, and in this particular case, there's a good reason to expect that intersection is valid. Like, it's not an accident.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like some kind of occult fanboy fantasy. It's sort of like this odd mixture of runes with gore and tarot, and it's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it.
I mean, the thing is that the thing people get mad about is that doesn't mean that Richard Allen isn't involved. I have no idea. Is he involved with that stuff? I don't know a fucking thing about the guy. So maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I think we can look at what we've got and make some determinations about it. I mean, I think if you're looking at Odinism and looking at tarot and stuff, you want to tie Richard Allen to that type of stuff because there's some there. If you're not hearing about it, then he's probably not tied to it, which you draw your conclusions about it. But let's at least look at what actually is the case, is the circumstances, is the murder weapon. Let's just make up everything just to fit a narrative. Let's look at what actually happened and then see if this particular person fits any of that. Just because he doesn't fit any of that, well, then that's probably not the right guy. I don't know what to tell
Yeah,
you.
well,
I'm
that's what
sorry.
I was just gonna say. It almost lends credence to the fact that maybe he is not the killer. So we can see this, I guess looking back at what we can see the crime scene photos. We can see this picture of this tree here. We can see the crime scene, like where it was, when it was. And so looking at the totality of all of that, well, if we can see all of that, and that kind of makes sense, and you can't tie Richard Allen to any of that, when maybe it's true that he is not the killer of the two girls. Now, could he be involved? Maybe he could be involved. Maybe he could not be involved. Maybe the fact that he doesn't have ties to this, and this is clearly there, maybe there's a reason. So it's not mutually exclusive in either direction. But geez, man, it's like
That's the whole thing, that
outright
people have a hard time
bodies.
people have a hard time digesting that, like, nothing is mutually exclusive. Like, it just isn't. Like, anybody else can be involved, and Richard Allen could still be involved, or anybody else could be involved and he's not involved. Like you gotta back this up with something.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I have no dog in the fight. I just like looking at things that I can clearly see, and then being able to comment upon my opinion about what I can process. So I can look at this photo and I can process, and I can say, well, it kind of looks like an F, kind of looks like a T almost. I can almost see a T.
I mean, it looks like an F to me. I'll just say that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm seeing on the upper part on the left side, maybe that blood streak continues. Maybe it was meant to be a T and an F combined. I don't know. Is that an F, or was that just a drip of blood? Because I don't really see a connector connecting what would make an F, but maybe it is, because the lighting's difficult to. It's really, the colors are hard to see, but for me, I see right angles, and the right angles alone, that makes this interesting to me. Just like the positioning of the bodies and the positioning or the shapes or the symbols, if you want to call it that, the sticks are formed into on top of the body. So there's a whole lot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying as far as the continuation along the top line. Like, that then I wouldn't call it an F, and I'd call it like a symbol that I don't know. I wouldn't
It could
call
also
it an
be
F,
a bind
but
group.
I would still call it intentional.
I would call it intentional, and I would call it human, formed by a human hand, possibly. And I was going to say it could even be somewhat of a concept of a bind rune, but with English or Latin characters. Maybe it could be a T and an F and an I. It could be, who knows what it is.
Right, exactly. Like, you can't get into the mind of somebody that's making something that's like, unless you can clearly tell what something is, you're not going to be able to actually decipher it. So,
but I don't think it's just a hand smear. I mean, I have a very difficult. That was my gut reaction on that, is just to say this is not a smear of someone grasping the tree. I mean, just there's no way to me.
I mean, the problem with it, you're right, is the right angles is the major issue with that premise of it being. I mean, the human hand can make right angles, but it's very, very deliberate to do that.
Oh yeah, you'd almost have to.
Yeah,
You
you
have to
really
do
have to
like
hold your hand a certain
some
way,
martial art
and
type
really
chi.
like force your fingers in a certain way to
Yeah.
really get it into right angles. I mean, it's completely possible, but it's extremely, extremely intentional, and I don't know. I mean, you could have that premise, is someone in actually doing that, and then what are they? Why are they doing that? What is that supposed to be? What is that? Maybe somebody would flex their hand in that very specific way to signal something, but is that a shape? Is that a shape of anything that's supposed to mean anything to anybody? because nobody's deciphered it.
So then wouldn't it still have been left on purpose?
Even if it's by the victim, then it is on purpose. Yeah, it's very purposeful, caused by
Yeah,
humans,
I would say,
caused with every like very 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 purposeful, because it's right angles, and that's the only way that you can make right angles.
yeah, I would say, I would agree with. Bottom line is, it seems to be purposeful, just like the sticks seem to be purposeful, just like the positioning of the bodies seem to be purposeful.
Yeah, you get a lot of stacking of seems to, like this seems like that, and this seems like that, and this seems like that. It's when you stack up a lot of things where just looking the opposite way doesn't make all that much sense.
Diamond Eyes says, "What did Perlmutter say about it? I don't know. I don't know."
Perlmutter said it was absolutely a ritualistic homicide. That's
No,
the sense.
about the tree. She's asking about the tree.
I don't know about the tree specifically.
I don't think that was mentioned, but I wasn't there, so could have just not been notated. Now, I see. I agree with Ode Mort here. Bottom line, I say, is that it all looks intentional. Yeah, it all looks, for me personally, it all looks intentional. And I don't mean intentional in the way that the prosecution would purport, that it was a rushed attempt to cover the bodies. I mean, it looks very intentional, like specifically intentional.
I mean, I think it still can be rushed and be intentional, but yeah, I agree. It's not in the. It's not what. It's not in a rush to. I mean, covering the bodies thing, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's just dumb, because the bodies aren't covered. You can just look; they're
I
not
mean, if I
covered.
were to cover the bodies, I'd probably just get as many leaves as possible and just make a mountain of leaves.
Right. I mean, it's not like, yeah, it's not rocket science or anything there. There's not like, I mean, we can just look at it. Bodies weren't covered, so that's probably not what was intended. Because would it have been easy to cover the bodies? Yes. And also, like, here's the other really really big thing that jumped out at me in these hearings, and it's the 4:33 a.m. the phone being turned on, and it's suddenly being pinged, and it's suddenly receiving all these text messages, 15 or 16, whatever it is. Like, okay, what is the explanation for this? Because there should be a rush for explanation, because a ton of pro prosecution type of people, really like to fantasize that Rich Allen, like, drove back out to the crime scene in the middle of the night on a motorcycle and did something. Like, here's the opportunity. Like, where are those people, like, when they're finally validated with this 4:33 a.m., like, the phone turning back on? Like, where is that? Or, like, the if any evidence supported a crazy conspiracy theory, here it is. But now you don't want to support this crazy conspiracy theory, like that he went back out to the scene. I mean, I get why, because I'm sure the prosecution cannot prove that he's going to be out there at 4 a.m. Otherwise, why not just come out with it? Like, just explain what happened. Why did this phone turn back on at 4:33 a.m.? Like, was your suspect out there at 4:33 a.m. and you can prove that as well? Can you, or can you not?
Oh, they're going to try to come up with some outlandish theory of why it magically turned on at 4:33.
Well, that's one of the things that just doesn't magically turn on, because I looked into a lot of it. I'm like, hey, what if your phone, like, got wet? Like, would it magically turn back on? Nope, it sure doesn't.
Well, I bet you what they're
It
going to
doesn't.
say. I bet they're going to say it never turned off. It just lost contact with the tower and was on roaming or something for all those hours.
Yeah,
And
but
then
see,
magically
I
at
mean,
4:33, it connected. It's going to be something
good. That's what I'm saying, man. Good luck to you then, convincing a jury of that, because you know I don't know that a lot of people are gonna buy that bullshit. Like, it just sits there in the same place for 12 hours, and then without ever moving, it suddenly connects. Well, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. Because it didn't move one single inch. And like, anybody that owns a cell phone is gonna know, like, if you're in a dead zone, you're in a dead zone. You're not gonna get it to come back on by not moving. Sure, you can move, walk around, see where you get a better connection.
they're going
Maybe
to say
it'll finally connect. But like, if it's dead, it's gonna stay dead because you were in a dead zone.
they're going to say because of the Earth rotation and the move and the proximity of the
Prof.
moon at 4:33, magically there was a triangulation and it connected to the tower after trying for 12
I
hours.
don't think they're going to say that, but I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know how they're going to convince people of this stuff because it's ridiculous. I don't know how you're going to convince like any person like that's your average American that owns a cell phone and knows how cell phones work, like to at least a simple degree. I don't know how you convince these people of this sort of stuff. I think they need to get a jump on it. If this is what they're going with, like, what do you have here? Like, spill it. Well, what is the theory here? How come his confessions are so good, but we don't have any inkling of what the fuck happened? You should be able to lay it all out. Why don't you do that? Like, you have every opportunity. You have the PCA. You could have rewritten the PCA when you amended the charges. You had just had a hearing. You could have spilled like a whole bunch of details. Like, what do you actually have? Like, you should be able to like tell us what happened. Like, if you want to win a PR battle and make everybody think that Richard Allen is guilty, here's your opportunity. What do you have that makes it's only the statements while he was likely in psychosis, like under duress and under like torturous conditions? That's the only thing that, like, really, is that the only thing that you got? That doesn't make any sense. What about all the fucking evidence that you collected at the crime scene? Are we supposed to forget about that?
Oh, you mean being left at the crime scene?
I mean, they surely collected some of it.
Look, Sunflower Soul says we need a reenactment of the phone landing in the shoe and turning itself back on. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the craziest things about this case that has no explanation to it. Like, I have no idea what somebody was thinking. The only thing that I've come up with, like, that makes sense in my mind is that, you know, somebody like dumped the bodies there, turn the phone back on so that the bodies would then be found, or
And then got the fuck out of Dodge. Right.
make it easier that the bodies would be found, that they would be found there, because they had some sense of humanity and like actually did want the bodies to be found, so they turned the phone back on just so it could be helpful for that express purpose.
Well, it's interesting.
Otherwise, I have no idea why somebody would do that. Definitely don't think that they dumped the bodies there the day before, then went back, then put the phone there and turned it back on. I mean, maybe, but like, that seems completely crazy.
It's just interesting that just in time for sunrise. If you think about it, just in time for daylight. Boom.
I mean, it's such a dangerous place to be at 4:30 in the morning. I mean, unless you know that like no one's actually looking.
Well, I wonder if that lends credence somewhat to the Kay Weber allegations that there were flashlights going off all night. Maybe there were flashlights. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there are some stories that other people
Rumors,
like
rumors,
that
rumors.
certain persons were looking, at extended hours. I mean, that is something that like I've heard before. The certain persons were out there looking all night, but I don't know whether they were looking or I don't know what they were doing. They're not monitored.
Every fact brings more questions. What's up, Brittany? Yeah, that's the deal. I mean, there's no answers that like are we understanding that what we're saying is there's no answers. No matter how much more comes, there's no answers.
Well, that's where there's a problem, because if you're saying that you got someone that's like willing to confess everything, he wants to confess, you've got him on like you got a guilty conviction on confessions. There should be a lot of answers. There should be a whole lot of answers, like if not almost all the answers. But why are there zero answers? That's the part that doesn't make sense, because there should be answers, unless you're just feeding us bullshit and like these confessions don't mean anything.
Well, and I mean, let's be honest here. I think a lot of us know where a bunch of this stuff has been coming from over the past year or two. And we've critiqued at length those who were there that night searching. You know, we've spoken at length about the suspicions of the searchers and the volunteer firemen. I don't take back any of it. There are things that I do take back over the past year or two, but the basics of the theories that we've plumbed out, I mean, I still feel the same about all of it.
I mean, nobody should like throw shade for people speculating on this. Like, what do you think law enforcement is supposed to do? Like, how do you think they're ever going to solve anything? They have to speculate to some degree. So, you know, don't get mad at other people doing it, because guess what? They for sure are doing it too.
Don't threaten to kill us. Don't threaten to dox us. Don't bring our family into it. Don't do all that. I mean, you do too much.
I agree with you, Prof. There's a baseline civility that just should be extended to everybody and anybody. Like, yeah, absolutely, don't do that
There's
stuff.
an awesome joke here. Maybe Elvis just screwed up holding the phone. It was his only job. You had one job.
I mean, I can't rule that out.
Thank you, Art Irwin. Oh my God. That was hilarious, man.
I mean, it's really strange that you got like a direct confession to this within like a day of the crime. And this guy, like, when they checked his phone, they're like, he left it at home and it didn't move all day. Like, who does that with their phone? Like, that's almost a signifier of like, you're up to something. And they do use that as a signifier that you're up to something. If you just like leave your phone at one place and never moves, like every other day, you're on your phone all day, like a normal American, normal crazy American that's on their phone all day. But one day it's just sitting there. You don't touch it all day. And then you don't have any great explanation for where you were the day. Yeah, it's because you were doing a crime. Like, duh. I mean, I don't know if he was involved in the murder, but like he was doing some crimes that day. I'll tell you that. Period. That's just how things are. If you see someone's phone sitting at home all day, didn't touch it, you were doing crimes. I don't really know about that sort of stuff. I just don't, I don't have I don't think there's a good documentation of like the search. I'll tell you that I don't understand it one little bit because I've been around that area many times and I have no idea how even one or two people couldn't canvass the entire area, because people don't understand this is not like people want to say like be under a false conception that this is some vast wild area. It's not. It's a very contained small area. One or two people could easily canvass the entire area within an hour or two. Like the entire area. You can cover every square foot. Put eyes on everything. It doesn't make any sense for you can't run especially when you know like the preeminent theory at the moment was girls were on the bridge, maybe they fell off into the water, look along the creek bed. Given that as your baseline where you are looking along the creek bed, there's zero explanation where like even one person, maybe two people, like just an hour or two, like you can cover the whole area. There's zero explanation where like
Well, yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up because I've said, I mean, that's absolutely true. That's why I think
cover the whole area.
that it's been very beneficial for whoever has gone out to visit and to check out the area. Um, it really helps you because one of the points that I've made that is really concerning to me is that I just don't understand how no one went down that side trail. So when you're at the bridge, like you were saying, you would suggest to yourself one of two things. One, they went across the bridge.
Who joined in here? I think we've got an echo.
Oh, this is Mike. Mike, you have to
Mike, turn down your volume.
turn the sound off.
Who joined in here? I think we've got an echo.
Mike, you have to.
No, it's not Mike.
Okay. Let's see. All right, he dropped. Maybe he'll join back in. What I'm saying is, you, you're approaching the high bridge. You have two choices. One, go across the bridge, okay, which you would suggest, like you did. Perhaps the girls had fallen off. Perhaps they went off to the other side. And the other option would be they took the trail to the left that goes on, and you follow that trail for a little bit, and you end up on Ron Logan's property.
Right.
So the two places you would immediately search, in my mind, if it was my kids, I'd say, you guys go down that trail. I'm going to go across the bridge. And once I get across the bridge, I'm going to go down and look under the bridge. That would be my two choices.
I mean, I think even like weighing those, that trail peeling off to the left is immediately the thought process. Like I think you would head that direction immediately. The natural inclination is to go almost exactly to the crime scene.
Exactly. That's what I'm.
And I've been there a
if
ton
I
of
was
times,
alone,
and like I'm just saying, like that's what you would do. Like, where are you gonna go on this trail looking for somebody? That's where you're gonna go. You're gonna go almost. You're just basically gonna go straight there. If you're looking for somebody And especially if you know that you're looking for them along the actual creek, which was the worry that they fell off the bridge and floated down the creek. That's where you're gonna go. You're gonna immediately go there. So, and when I say like, hey, one or two people can do this in an hour or two, I really mean one person can do this in an hour. But like, if you're just like following like logic, one person can maybe do this in like 20 or 30 minutes. Like what? Like where is the actual search activity? Like what are you doing? Like what prevented this from happening? It doesn't make any sense. And I don't know. Never heard like whether there is definitively somebody waving them off of the property, or I don't know. I don't know what happened where you couldn't immediately go there.
Yeah, we see if I were to do it alone, let's say I'm going by myself to go look for the girls because they're not where they're supposed to be. First thing I do is go to the bridge. If I don't see them at the bridge, I'd look off into the water under the bridge. Say, do I see the girls? Okay, no. Exact next place I would go is down that side trail, and then
Right.
all the way I'd go down around Logan's, and then when I got down there in that little ditch or gully, then I'd look around and say, okay, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
I mean, that's the point where you cross the property onto his property, sort of. But yeah, I mean that's not far enough, and I do get that that's like a natural inclination for people to then stop. But I think that if you have the wherewithal that like, hey, what you're looking for is to look along the creek bed, then you just keep going, and like crossing that isn't like going down that hill is definitely like, not the easiest thing, but when you've gotten down there, like crossing the gully and just continuing going isn't that big a deal. Like you can just easily do that. Just keep following the creek.
Yeah, and also
And it's an easy walk down from the cemetery. Like these aren't like people keep up playing the stupid fucking narrative. Like these are like treacherous conditions and all that stuff. I'm like, I mean, I get if the weather is like bad, or like some parts of it are frozen or muddy. Like sure, like it's not great, but like come on, it is not that big a deal. I've ran over that whole area just in like with no shoes, just Crocs, and it's not a big deal. Like you can just walk over the whole area,
I went
up
with
to
a
the cemetery,
4-year-old.
down from the cemetery, all through the woods, like along the creek bed. No big deal. It isn't.
I went with my 4-year-old and a drone and a 35 millimeter camera with a zoom lens. I managed, and so did the 4-year-old. But keep in mind, it was not pitch black darkness of night when these girls come up missing. It's daylight.
Oh, I know. They wanna say that they stopped looking at like 5:30. Like, are you kidding me? Like I don't even care in the dead of winter. Like it's not pitch black by 5:30. That's a lot of light.
It's a lot of light. There's light at 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30. There's light. You could have covered that entire area under.
Well, and they also had all their dudes with trucks, with their high beams and stuff. Like they were bringing out lighting if you wanted it. There was definitely a decision to not do it. Like they were bringing out lighting if you wanted it.
Hey, what's up?
There was definitely a decision.
What's up, Chevy Killer? Can you turn your sound down? Hey, what's up? What's up, Chevy Killer? Can you turn your sound down?
Yeah, my sound should be down.
Turn it all the way down.
I think it's better.
Is
Yeah,
my mic not being picked up?
no, it's perfect now. What's up? Good to see you.
What's up, Chevy Killer?
Oh, well, he dropped again. He's struggling with this thing, but he usually gets it together eventually.
Okay. I don't know if I've been here for that before.
Do ATVs have headlights? Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yes, they do. They all do. And there was tons of like options.
There were lights at night, and there was the sun in the daytime. Let's not kid ourselves here.
I mean, I'm not trying to like even like draw a conspiracy from this. I'm just like looking at the facts and being like, what the fuck? Was it? Like, what the fuck? Like, I just don't understand it.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now.
It's wild. What's
That's
up?
much
Yeah.
much better. Yeah.
There we go. Hello, Fiend. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's fucking Friday. We're good. We're supposed to have a nice loose. Prof wanted to have a easy weekend, let loose.
We struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes it's supposed to be a fun party night Friday, but we get really deep and stuff.
Right, but there's
Hey,
no.
it's fun to me now, man. It's this is relaxing. It's not stressful. So
We got to let it go, but we do have to say absolutely 100% to Sleuthy Goose. She is awesome. She's phenomenal. She does great fucking work. So, everybody say thank you.
oh yeah, she's a badass and a lady.
Absolutely. We need to respect that because she don't stop. She's 100% on the grind. Never stops.
Yeah.
I gotta loosen Fiend up a little, and I gotta loosen the Prof and remember with the whole little. We just gotta let all the little haters go, and let all the bullshit, and we welcome them all, and we go, hey, here you go. Come have fun. Come talk.
I
Art
think that's
Irwin says, "Do I need to call Nick?"
easier said than done, just from a practical standpoint. But I do appreciate Sleuthy quite a lot. She's document queen.
Fuck, she's badass. But besides all that, we just gotta loosen up the people in the chat. Let them say, hey, share, subscribe, like, do what you gotta do. But let's not, we can't push away the haters. We gotta let the haters come in.
Well, I'm pretty sure some are in here now.
The
Welcome.
more they hate,
Yeah.
the more they view, the more we appreciate, right?
Man, I don't think it's that deep. Like, honestly.
Dice says, "Chevy Killer, you're a lady killer too."
I'm no. So I have fun on different days. Maybe what it be, but no. Remember our first conversation, Prof? What I
Yep.
say about wisdom, sleuth. We can't let all that. We just gotta say yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes I fly off the handle though.
Right. So do I. Fuck it. Who cares? We gotta just let loose Friday. Remember earlier at the end of the day what you said. We're gonna have a let loose Friday. We just gotta be what it's gonna be, right? Remember, here, I'll give you a good one, Prof. The passage of time is the time of the passage of the time that we pass through the time. It goes.
Now that's sounding like a politician. You better watch
You're
that.
you're drunk, Chevy Killer.
Oh no, I got a good buzz going, Phoenix, but I'm making a joke, and I think Prof got the joke that I was making.
Oh, you mean like the politicians? Yeah.
Oh, of course, because my passage of time is the passage of
Yeah,
time.
that's some circles. That's some circles for you.
Shit. All right, you can cut me off. I'm just trying to have some fun and make us all have fun and be lightened up and ah.
It's good to hear from you, Chevy Killer. I haven't talked to you before.
No, me and you bullshit a couple times before, Phoenix.
Yeah, in chats maybe. Probably
Yeah,
not.
and chats and we got the little boy who's running around who's uh the little child, who people were bamboozled by.
I can
Oh
probably
well,
get. I can probably guess from that.
let's not get all.
No,
Let's not get all. Let's not get all serious, Chevy Killer.
Right.
no, I
Yeah.
wasn't getting serious. I'm
I
saying
like when Prof is the peacemaker and he doesn't want to get serious about let's not talk about the other people. Like,
well, shit, I'm trying to be the ultimate peacemaker. I'm just saying me and you bullshitted a few times on, whatever.
right, we're cool, dude.
Well,
You schools, fuck. But hey, everybody hit a shot, do a shot, shot.
well, I was going to say, did everyone have good dinner? I know I did.
Ah,
Oh, I had an awesome dinner, but I usually do.
What did you have for dinner, Prof? Did you cook it yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm a cook. Tonight it was.
Prof, I'm not joking, man. I think that I think you should do do a second channel with just like Prof cooks.
I don't need trolls for that too, man.
No, but but you're gonna get like so many other people that just like
Not enough
it. Like,
Cajun seasoning. I'll dox you.
no, I think it's got promise.
So
I
it
really
was
do.
tuna. So tonight was tuna steaks and salad with a sriracha ranch type of dressing and sriracha ranch parmesan dressing. Kind of a weird dressing vibe to it, but a wonderful salad and
That
medium
sounds
rare
aw-
medium
that
rare
sounds
steak.
that sounds awesome, dude. I love
It,
tuna steaks. Tuna steaks
it
are
does sound awesome, but Prof, that sounds super, super fancy. I got a tuna steak tartare, you know, and it's all jokes. But that's great.
Sleuthy says, "I love tuna steak on occasion." Well, I was discussing it with the neighbors the other day. We were talking about these very tuna steaks because I hadn't cooked it yet, and I was telling her how it's odd with the tuna steak. Like, it's all about the right amount of doneness, even more so than a steak.
Hmm.
Because
100% agree. 100%
yeah,
agree.
if you cook it too much, even a little, it's going to become tough and all like fibrous. But if you cook it just right, a little on the medium rare type of tip or rare tip, it's going to
Mm.
melt like butter in your mouth, and it's hard to. Usually, you have to go to a good restaurant to get it
That's the answer for everything, dude. Is medium rare.
medium rare, sorta. Yeah.
Yep.
Foodies don't troll. Well, no. Have you seen what's the guy's
The
name?
foodies do troll, so I'm not.
Yeah,
No,
get the hell out of
don't
here.
pretend with that stuff. Yeah, but a lot of people follow. I'm just that's what I'm getting at. Yes, Prof. You do a Prof Cooks channel.
But Sleuthy,
I bet a lot of people watch it, but
all right, Sleuthy.
you will get more trolls, but you'll get more people watching it.
So Sleuthy, this came up with the discussion with the neighbors because this very subject came up that you dry it out, it barely overcooks, and it's garbagey. But I told him that I have a solution for that. When that happens, I don't waste food. So if I do tend to dry it out slightly like that, I then get out the most sharp Asian knife that I have, and I cut it into these little cubes or triangles or whatever. And then that's when I just sprinkle like some little 1-inch cubes of the tuna steak over the salad and drench it with the dressing and everything. It makes it palatable. And so if I ever ruin it, it ends up chopped up on top of the salad instead of sitting next to the salad. So,
I really legitimately love the Prof Cooks channel idea. Just call it Prof Cooks.
Prof Cooks.
Prof Cooks, do it. Dude, I promise you, like, hey, don't even change. Just make your dinner and
just film the making of the dinners. Yeah.
Right. Just that's it.
Prof, have you ever had lutefisk? I have no clue if that's even English that you're speaking, Old Mart.
I'm aware of that word, but I actually don't know what it is.
Have you ever had a Cuban, Prof?
A what?
A Cuban.
You mean the sandwich?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I lived in Chicago.
Yep. Oh, okay. Well, sure. Have you ever had a Cuban out of Florida?
Say what?
Louisiana, man. Like, that's where the Cubans are from.
No.
No, or Florida or whatever, man.
They're not.
Cuban
They're
food.
from but they're really from like South Miami, the real Cubans. You ever had a Cuban down from Florida?
It's Cuban. It's Cuban food.
But I've had some. There's some killing Cubans in. I mean, Chicago is a food city, y'all. You know that.
No,
Chicago
is. Chicago is.
I'll admit that, but I don't. Yep. Chicago is a dangerous place to go.
Sophie, where are you at in Indiana?
I shot too often, but
you northern, southwest. What? Where are you at in Indiana? You don't have to say
central.
Central.
Central Indiana.
Okay. So, I used to be Central Ohio. Now I'm, what do you want to call it? Southeast Ohio, maybe, whatever. You got different foods. So I come from Jersey.
Indiana has like terrible food, just generally.
Well, yes and no, but they got their own little things, and so
okay.
I'm not gonna say Indiana has complete horrible food. I'm not gonna be that person. They got so. You ever heard of pork roll, egg, and cheese?
Of what?
Pork roll, egg, and cheese.
No, but I will say like tenderloins. You might actually get some good tenderloins in Indiana, but
okay,
yeah, I mean it's really limited, man. Like I would kill if like Indiana had like great barbecue. Like they don't.
Indiana has their own little.
They have a lot of not great like anything. Yeah, I don't even know what we're doing here.
No, we're just having a different conversation.
If any of you end up in if you're ever in the South Mississippi area, hit me up and I'll send you to the greatest barbecue. Oh my God! Once in a while.
I mean, I might go to South Mississippi just on this tip here, because I fucking love barbecue. Like, the barbecue is my jam.
Well, this place, part of their specialty is the in-ground pits. So you can imagine how. I'll put it this way: if you would get a rack of pork ribs, you could literally eat the bones, just like the meat, like a seamless. The bones melt into the texture of meat because the temperatures are so hot and long-lasting in the subterranean ovens.
Nice.
I'm not the biggest pork rib consumer these days. So as I've gotten older, I can't really handle them.
I can't even believe this comment. Sleuthy Goosey says, "I hate barbecue."
What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm not paying attention.
I'm shocked and appalled by
Well,
Sleuthy
Fiend.
Goosey hating barbecue. It's one of the most devastating like bombshells of my life.
Well, you know what it
Oh.
means. She's been neglected her entire life when it comes to good barbecue.
I mean, see, that's how I was. Like, I've also not had good barbecue, but as soon as I had good barbecue, I was like, you know what I like? I like good barbecue.
Fiend, you can come hang out. I'll cook on the grill. You'll think you ate off a smoker. That's how good my barbecue is. I can
Wow.
cook on an old ass grill, and you'll see a pink, nice little edge on the side, and you'll go, wait a minute, you can't get that. That's from a grill. And you'll go, oh, I'll give you some kick ass barbecue straight off a grill, but you'll think it's off a smoker.
Man, I believe that. I think there's a lot of good ways to do barbecue. You know, like
cool. Yeah.
Oh no, we can do a barbecue all day long. You ain't far. We ain't gotta hate. You want to hate, but I don't hate.
Well,
here's
a question.
I'm not hating on you, dude.
Who has not had oysters? Gulf Coast oysters.
No, who has not had
I
Jersey
tried one. I
oysters?
think I tried one oyster one time, and that was probably enough for me.
Prof, you gotta have Jersey oysters.
I have not had them, but I've had plenty of Gulf Coast oysters.
You gotta have East Coast Jersey oysters.
I might drop out of this conversation.
You know the saying, the forearm gets hard. You gotta have the East Coast Baltimore. Fiend, don't go nowhere. Don't drop out.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just it's some kind of weird thing that I'm not. Hey, I'm in landlocked Indiana. Like,
Rick says, "Who has not had New Zealand bluff oysters? Are we talking about mountain oysters? Because that's something I haven't had."
Shit, then some blood oysters. Okay, so me and you, Fiend, might gotta drop out because we got blood oysters now. We gotta go.
Nope.
No.
I have no idea what's going on.
It's all a joke.
Rockefeller. You know what I prefer, Sandy, is just a straight up fried oyster po' boy in New Orleans, and you got to go to the right.
If you put po' boy on something,
there you go.
There we go. That's my. I can get down with that.
Yeah, that's it. Got to be like that. I don't do them raw. I would never do a raw oyster.
I can drop out of chat. I just came in to make some chat fun.
I did a raw oyster before, and like I hadn't ever done it, and like, I mean, it's weird. Kind of not really my thing.
No, I don't want you to go nowhere, Fiend. I just came in chat to make chat fun, and we talk about something different and have bullshit and do whatever. I don't want you to go nowhere. So you and Prof go back to talking, and I'll drop out of chat, and you guys, I just came in to make a difference, change the entire topic.
Oh, don't feel you got to leave, Chevy. I'm just thinking about food now. I'm wanting fried oyster po' boys.
Want food all day, but I don't want Fiend to feel.
This is the genesis of Prof Cooks, and
I don't want Fiend to feel.
I'm all about it. I think Prof Cooks is the next big thing.
I don't want Fiend to feel disrespected in any way. I just came in to bullshit and have fun.
Dude, you're overreacting. I'm fine.
No, I'm just saying I didn't want you to feel disrespected. I just wanted to come in and have some fun and bullshit.
Yeah, and you're fine.
We can get different people in the chat and we can do whatever, and they go, "Oh, look at these three assholes."
Now,
well, Prof is not an asshole. Prof is
I'm saying they're gonna look at. I call them.
Well, it depends on who you ask. As far as the YouTubes go, I'm about on the 90% asshole rating scale, I believe. But something I'm really good at that you wouldn't think, and I wouldn't have thought until I tried it, because it stemmed from that I I loved various curries. My whole life, I've loved curries, especially the Thai curries. But
Thai food is the shit, man. I
yeah,
love Thai food.
but I got really good because I bought a cookbook for Indian curries, and so I started exploring this cookbook, and this was like 20 years ago. So I wound up finding one recipe in that book that I mastered, and it's still something I whip out from time to time, which is just a straight up Indian curry. And the way I do it is strictly with thighs. So the only way I'll do it is to get the boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and the bones don't matter actually. They have to be skinless though, and it's actually a little better with the bone because you get a little more of that gelatinous texture to the end product. But I do a really good chicken curry, like a yellow curry, and oh man, I do it up. I use jasmine rice and everything just to make it, and sometimes quinoa if I'm trying to be extra healthy. But I do a good chicken curry. That would be a nice one to show. Using butter, garlic, onion, yogurt, chicken thigh, and spices. Yeah, it's delicious. But that chicken is fatty, so it's a rare occasion. You say she's Indian from St. Thomas? That's an interesting combination. So she's Caribbean Indian heritage.
Oh, we must be talking about Kamala.
I don't think so. Have you been to Caribbean, Fiend or Chevy?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I've been to Caribbean. I've been a lot of times.
Anywhere, Chevy? You?
Me, I
Yep.
have been to Cancun multiple times.
Oh,
That's Mexico.
that's Mexico.
Yes, yes.
No, I've been to all sorts of places in the Caribbean. I've been to Jamaica and Aruba and Bahamas and
Yeah.
Ooh, I
Virgin
wanna
Islands.
take you.
Like, yeah. All,
Come on.
all the Kokomo places. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Right.
a, well, I just bringing it up because of the food. I'm a lover of good Caribbean food as well.
Yeah, jerk seasoning's the fucking shit, dude.
That's
This
Jamaican.
this
You want
this
some jerk chicken?
this is why we need a prof. This is why we need a Prof Cooks channel because hey, next time on Prof Cooks, jerk seasoning.
All right, but you're talking about jerk chicken.
Well, you can use jerk seasoning on anything. It's up
I'll
to
do
the
jerk
prof to.
anything pretty much.
Yeah, it's up to the prof to decide because prof is a chef. He
No, I'm
knows
not a
what's
good
up.
Caribbean cook.
Most of it's
I've never really stretched out into the Caribbean cuisine, but I
most of
love
it
eating.
is
But people
jerk
want to
chicken.
see it.
Most of it is jerk chicken.
All I have to do is put my finger in it, and it's an instant meal. It's fast food. I love spicy. When I went to the Bahamas, jerk chicken, which I thought was like what my cousin always made, I thought my entire face was going to melt off my body. That happens sometimes. See, there was a now. This might get me in trouble with the YouTube woke fanatics who want to bash my head in, but I had a Thai roommate in college, and it was so funny because we'd go to this place. It was a little lady cooking out of her house, basically, and she didn't speak English. But the way when we go get a plate over there, he told me the first trip, he says, this is how you have to say it. He says, it's the number of spices that you say is going to matter how hot it is. He says, so if you just want it normal, just say spicy. He says, because if you say spicy, spicy, it's going to be too hot for you. And he says, but I get it, spicy, spicy, spicy. And so that was the funniest joke that we always had with that guy is we'd go to get a plate from her, and we couldn't fuck up because if you say spicy, 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 or spicy, spicy, it'd be a little too much. But if you didn't say spicy at all, it wouldn't be good. So I just had to say spicy, one spicy.
And that's a 100% spicy challenge. And where the fuck did Fiend go?
Yeah, it looks like he dropped out. They told me it would be hot, but what the fuck? You probably had it spicy, 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 Sleuthy.
Fiend, come back.
Oh, I wonder if they did that to you on purpose, Sleuthy. If they tried to punish you. Like, who got your food for you?
Sleuthy is a badass, kick-ass girl.
Yeah, I wonder if they were trying to mess with her, so they made it spicier than all get out, just to punish her. I mean, I'll admit to one thing I did unintentionally to me and my girlfriend one day, some years ago, is I had grown these habanero peppers, and I had never used them to cook before. So you know how normally, Chevy, you would saute a pepper. You get a pepper, your jalapeno, whatever. You dice it up, slice it up, whatever, and you saute it real quick, and then you put your meal together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I figured I would do that with this one or two habaneros that I had grown. So I did that, and man, the minute it hit the grease, the whole kitchen was immediately like you had sprayed pepper spray in it, and it ran us out of the kitchen. Me and the girl, we had to. I turned the fire off. We had to vacate the kitchen because it was bad. It was bad. Those were hot peppers. But I never cooked with them again. I never did. No, I take that back. I did cook with them again after I had dehydrated them, and I learned that I would only put them in a soup or a gumbo or something like that, and just a half of a pepper. That's how I had to treat my habaneros.
So you did a half extraction.
Yeah, that's about all I can handle. It's a big old pot and a half of a dehydrated pepper.
So we got to have fun. Everybody hit the cheers button. Everybody hit the like button. Finally smash that like button. Subscribe, share to your friends.
All right, let's check this chat. See who I got here.
Fiend, come back.
Rick says the Thai cashew and shrimp curry was the hottest meal I ever had. Would it also be delicious not hot? Sandy D, where do you where would you boil crawfish? Where are you in the Florida or Gulf Coast, Sandy?
Louisiana.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on that side.
You want some gumbo?
Well, I think our food explorations have run their course. Everyone's all burned out. I tell you what, though, I love cooking dinners. Last night it was burgers. I got these amazing burgers at the grocery store that are made in the store. I ended up snagging some amazing burgers, and I made one or two, one for each of us last night. And I paid for it this morning. I ate a big burger too late, so it's kind of a little heavy for late night eating.
To do an Omaha Steaks.
What is an Omaha steak?
Oh, Omaha Steaks is some of the finest cuts that there is.
Is it a cut or a brand? What is it? What is a Omaha
Oh,
steak?
oh, Omaha Steaks is a brand. Um, OmahaSteaks.com, but they got a $99 package. It is phenomenal. They got burgers, pork chops, steaks. They are straight cuts off of. It is phenomenal. You can't complain about an Omaha steak burger. You can't complain about an Omaha steak ribeye or a strip. You get the steak, you cook it correctly, you go, holy shit.
We got some fires in the state this week. It's a little concerning. I'm tracking it right now, seeing how we're doing. It looks like it's a little better than the earlier in the week, but it's fire season. Oh, I see what you're saying. Omaha steaks are sold off a truck at north end of my town. What about wasabi? I don't like it. I don't do it. I waste the wasabi when I get it.
Omaha Steaks is definitely not sold off the side of a truck.
You know what's good? If you've ever had wasabi ice cream, though, that's how I had. If I ever have wasabi, the rare occasion I'll get a little wasabi ice cream. Yeah. Oh, you're in New Zealand. All right, yo. Well, Chevy, good night. I think I'm gonna head out. Uh-oh. Did I lose the sound? Uh-oh. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out. Looks like it's getting a little late, and I'm kind of starting to feel the tiredness. It's a great visit with the dudes and with you ladies in the chat. Will you have more Deep State Diaries? Yes. It's just been really hard. There's so many shows I have planned. I have some more weird shit shows coming. those are there's still some more of those to come, but we haven't had time to do it. I have a lot of more deep state diaries to come. Haven't had time to do it. I'm going to start doing shorter videos on breaking news. Haven't had time to even get started with that. Uh, I have my final two Let's Talk Delphi episodes to do. Haven't had time to do them. Uh, this week of hearings really threw everything back, 5 days, but we'll start getting to all that. And it's just so funny what you guys keep talking about cooking. What I'll probably do it, maybe I'll start taking photos and posting on the community page my various cooking experiments, and that'll be a way you guys can share in that. No, I'm not doing a cooking show, but I love to cook and I love to eat more than that. But I learned from the best. I literally learned from the best. My grandmother. I was able to grow up watching her cook, and when you watch someone cook, you learn how to cook without being taught how to cook. So that's how I learned to cook. Anyway, let's see. I want to say thank you to some folks, starting with is a God thing for the 4.99 super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Is a God thing. It's very nice of you. And also to Jane Penny for joining, becoming a member. Thank you, Jane Penny. Everyone else, I ask you to please support if you feel inclined, and also by hitting the like and leaving a comment below, especially if you're on the replay. Please leave a comment below. We appreciate the comments and love them. Let's see. We're going to say, um, for everyone who contributed to the chat, thank you so much. Let me try to mention those of you here within the last hour or two, as many as I can. Um, and that's going to be like, let's see, who's there? Zero Cool, Brittany, Sleuthy Goosey, Diamond Eyes, Big Fish, R. Irwin, Nobody Nothing, Four Pits, Sunflower Soul, um, Marianne Foster, Rebecca Ann, 1965, Nobody Nothing. Shay Watson was here. Trying to catch everybody, and the least that we forget, Phoenix was here. Thank you, Fiend. Fair Maiden Wins was here. Thank you. And Old Mart Newmart. That's right. Thank you very much, Old Mart Newmart. Who else was here? Digital. What's up, Digital? Nancy Drew 101. What's up, Nancy Drew? Digital. Who else was here? Carol. That's right. What's up, Carol? What's up, Carol Sita? All right. Sandy D. That's what. What's up, Sandy D? Sandy D. You never said where you were. What's up, Sandy D? Thanks for hanging out. And Sleuthy, you got to get some good barbecue. We got to turn this around right here. Okay, we got to get you some barbecue. Rick H, what's up, Rick H? Thanks for being here, hanging out, contributing to the chat. Lisa, that's right, Lisa was here. What's up, Lisa? Who else? Who else? Come on, who am I missing? If I'm missing you, chime it on in the chat. If I haven't called your name and you're still here, let me know in the chat at the bottom. I think I caught everyone who I see. But if I missed you, just say, all right, Crystal Blue. That's right, Crystal Blue Persuasion. What's up? And thank you. All right, if I missed you, chime in the chat, say goodnight, and I will say goodnight to you. We love you. Oh, what's up, Crime Night? What's up, Joe Lewis? We love you, brother. Welcome to the chat. We're just ending. Please watch some of the replay if you want to have a nice time. We just shot the shit, so to speak. It was a nice hangout, though. Some really good thoughts about the past few days ended up surfacing among us. So I really want to thank Phoenix for the back and forth on that stuff. And let's see who else we got here. Mandy, what up, Mandy? What's up, Mandy? Thanks for being here. And thanks for chiming in. Let me know you guys are here. I love that. So, Mandy, Rick H., Joe Lewis, Diamond Eyes, Lisa, all you guys are super beautiful. Oh, yeah, Digital. Digital says, next Delphi talk, I want to know your opinion on bridge guy videos starting at high school and then the bridge in 43 seconds. Hey, clarify that for me, Digital. You got me a little confused. You got me a little confused. Starting at high school and then the bridge in 43 seconds. Hey, y'all. Rick Snay did an interesting show today. He's talking about this very 43 seconds. Um, so yeah, thanks for the replay. Thanks for watching the replay. Uh, heard your opinion on the right handles F tree. We should replay Crime Night. Yeah, that's what I'll probably do is replay Crime Night when I turn this off. Yeah, the right angles. That's what you're saying. The right angles. There's no way it's an accidental grabbing of the tree. I mean, it just, the human body is not built in that way. I'm sorry. Not sorry. All right. FYI, very interesting channel. State of Corruption, NH, Cartel, Meth, Treatment Centers, Boston FBI. I'll keep repeating myself. Well, we know about as I mentioned earlier, the FBI is exhibiting many signs of corruption, and I hope that if they are looking at the Delphi murders, that they are not operating in a capacity of corruption like they have exhibited elsewhere. I hope that the good agents whose boots on the ground would be the ones looking at the Delphi murders, if they indeed are. We know they were looking at the Karen Reed, and who's to say they're not looking at the Delphi murders? So let's all pray. We will pray for health and prosperity for everyone here. We will pray for justice for the victims of Delphi murders. We will pray for truth coming to light, and we will pray that everyone find peace and happiness, and find that peace and happiness through addressing accountability and responsibility, and giving to the world that which is not causative of pain, suffering, grief, and strife. Give to the world happiness and beauty, because those are the things that on your way out you will be relishing in, instead of suffering in the pain that you have caused. So I pray for you as well. And I just hope that all of you have an enjoyable and restful next few weeks, because we've had a traumatic week going through this process of these 3 days of hearings and all of the things that's been brought about. And there's no reason. There's no reason. It's painful to hear, and that's part of the burden we have to bear in the seeking the justice for these victims. But we can't carry that with us. You know, we really can't. We have to try to find some peace, beauty, and love as we carry forward, and know that we have to let that stuff in and let it on out. And so try to give yourself a nice weekend and a nice few weeks, so that you get a breath of relief, breathe a sigh of relief from this trauma. And it will help to heal this community, which is suffering in so many ways from the after effects of such a traumatic and terrible event. It's left a lot of evil in its wake. And so let us try to move forward and give ourselves that which fills us up and makes us better able to continue doing what we do and moving forward. And I love you guys, and God bless you, and God loves you. And so hug your kids, hug your wife, hug your family, love your family, and be easy on yourself. Because when you're hard on yourself, you're hard on others. And when you love yourself, you're able to love others. So with that being said, good night, God bless, and I'll see you next time. We love you.
Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Been waiting so patient, I'm going places, can't fake it. My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Stand low, got nothing to prove, cause I'm not the blow. I've been in the booth, speaking to my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it goes. Where it go, either way it goes. I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn their back. Acting like the amigos, they never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always come to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal. Releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still. Protecting my soul.